About 7 weeks to go until pot is legal right across the country. The date's coming fast, but there are still so many unanswered questions. One of the big ones, could it really break the black market? Well, for a lesson or two, Briar Stewart headed to Colorado this past spring because it was one of the first states down south to go legal. Yet, all this time later, 4 years on, it's the center of a drug war.
You good? Are you loaded in that 37? No, I haven't loaded yet. I'm going to load the single shot.
I appreciate you guys all coming out for the briefing. Please give your full attention to all of us here.
What's up?
For the Sheriff's Office in Teller County, Colorado, this is number 8.
So I'll just follow you to that corner when you're good to go?
Yep.
The 8th time this heavily armed convoy has moved in on a suspected illegal grow operation. Because in the land of legal weed, the black market is booming like it never was before.
The biggest pot bust in state history.
Hundreds of pounds of pot confiscated during that raid.
This was an apparent illegal grow operation with dozens and dozens of plants.
And most of that illegal pot is being grown by highly organized criminal rings and smuggled out of state.
That's quite nice. It's really tucked away back here.
Nice homes, good people, and then right in the mix, you're going to find a cartel operation.
Sheriff Jason Mikesell thought he was done with his days in law enforcement, but says he came out of retirement.
And that's really what we're trying to get after, is that darkness.
When he saw just how much marijuana ended up in his rural community after legalization.
It was really billed in the beginning as it's a medical piece. It's here to help people. It's going to bring in a lot of tax money, and it was going to stop the illegal black market trade of marijuana.
And what's happened?
What we've seen, Briar, is now that illegal black market is so large that it's on every street corner. It's in every community.
All right, starting again.
Sometimes it's hidden in plain sight. In this never-before-shared video, an agent with the Federal Drug Enforcement Administration goes from room to room in a warehouse in Denver that's brimming with marijuana plants, all of them grown under the guise of a legitimate medical marijuana facility. There were official-looking clipboards and schedules, but tucked away, a bulletproof vest. This is one of 13 warehouses that was part of this operation, and the group behind it was earning more than $1 million each month. All of that pot was being driven and flown out of state in a private plane. When police moved in, they arrested 32 people.
Colorado has basically become the marijuana capital of the United States, where you find drug trafficking organizations moving here from all over the country, setting up shop in Colorado, and then sending black market marijuana back to their home states where they can sell it at incredible profit.
DEA agent Paul Roach says they've been able to do that by exploiting Colorado's laws. When the state opened the door to legal pot in 2012, it introduced generous rules for growing your own, and many are. The Denver police estimate that in the city, marijuana is grown in 1 in 10 homes. The rules allowed each person to grow up to 6 plants, and they could pool them together in large co-ops. Medical patients could grow up to 99. The rules made it hard for authorities to crack down on those growing and selling it illegally.
We're finding many organizations are setting up shop in federal lands, in national park lands and federal lands, and they're setting up vast marijuana grows. We find many of these, but who knows how many we're not finding.
And not all of that pot is being shipped out of Colorado. Even in a state where there are more dispensaries than McDonald's and Starbucks combined, a cannabis consumers group estimates that as many as 50% of users are doing their shopping elsewhere. Some of those local sellers have moved online into the murky world of internet marijuana sales, where they promise lower prices and anonymity.
We contacted more than 60 people who were selling marijuana online in Colorado. Now, most of them didn't get back to us. Some of them did, but said they'd only talk to us if we agreed to pay them, which of course we don't do. But there were a few, however, who decided to share with us just how they operate in the black market here.
Well,
all the weed.
This seller wouldn't do an interview, but had no problem sending us a video showing off his stash, even showing his face. Others were more careful, saying they would only talk if we didn't identify them.
This is G4. It's an indica, a sativa hybrid. So
this father of two runs a delivery service. In the world of illegal weed, you could call it skip the dispensary.
You know, just like your pizza, I guarantee you less than an hour. I've had nurses that, that contact me via the internet, and they are looking to, to purchase and have a delivery brought to their home or their office or wherever they feel comfortable, just like you would have your groceries or anything else readily accessible for you. Some of those people include truckers.
On a day when he's going full out, he can make between $400 and $500.
On a good day that I've ran all day, there's been times where I didn't sleep. My phone's right by my ear, it rings and I'm up.
But he says he turns down business if he's suspicious of the would-be buyer.
Given that what you're doing is illegal, how concerned are you about police and investigators?
I'm quite concerned about it. There's risk of cops, but I've had people sit right there in your seat where you're at with the gun to my head, It's a risk. It's definitely a risk.
Because you never know just who you're dealing with.
I'm not going to allow these organizations to destroy my community.
Remember Sheriff Mike So? Well, he had an SUV that he wanted to sell, so in December, he posted it on Craigslist, and he got an offer, 4 pounds of pot.
Yeah. Oh, this is my friend. I'm sorry, man. He drove me here just in case the deal goes. Then he's going to give me a ride home. My bad. I should have said that. The deal's going to go. You're going to right on.
When the buyer showed up to make the sale, officers were waiting for them with cameras rolling. And they were both charged with distribution of marijuana.
That was a very interesting case for us. It really opened up an understanding of how big this market is.
They're using it for currency.
Using it as currency. So it's the new cash.
In Teller County, officials have banned recreational dispensaries, but illegal pot is still everywhere, along with a slew of trashed rental homes and weapons that the cartels have also brought in.
Never would we have thought that we would have this issue going on in our community.
Sheriff Mike So warns other jurisdictions not to legalize, but if they choose to go down that road, he says, they must learn from Colorado's mistakes.
Make sure that you have all your laws in place before you force it in. Because if you don't, the weight of what you allow to begin, the way Colorado did in the beginning, will crush your state.
This year, Colorado's government introduced new legislation to try to crack down on all the illegal growing and smuggling. New rules now restrict just how many plants residents and medical marijuana patients can grow in one place. This has given authorities more power, but it's difficult to play catch-up.
In Teller County alone, we know that we have another 60 to 70 marijuana houses within Teller County we haven't got to yet.
On this raid, the sheriff's team was about 2 days too late. Inside, all they found was some dodgy electrical wiring, grow lights, mildew, and mold. There was even a crib suggesting a baby lived here. But everyone was gone, and so was all that pot, still destined to be sold somewhere on the black market. Briar Stewart, CBC News in Teller County, Colorado.